cake was a present for Red Riding Hood's grandmother. Grandmother lived on the other side of the forest. Red Riding Hood's mum asked her to take the cake to Grandma. Mum told Red Riding Hood to keep on the pathway and not stop anywhere. She told her not to talk to strangers. Mum and Red Riding Hood waved goodbye to each other. Little Red Riding Hood went into the forest. She had a basket on her arm with the cake inside. A big bad wolf was watching her. He was very hungry. Little Red Riding Hood did not see him. He came beside Red Riding Hood. The wolf tried to sound friendly. He asked Red Riding Hood where she was going. She told him she was going to see her grandmother on the other side of the forest. The big bad wolf told Red Riding Hood that she should pick some flowers for Grandma. As Red Riding Hood was picking the flowers, the wolf ran off. He wanted to get to Grandmother's house before Red Riding Hood. The big bad wolf arrived at Grandmother's house. He knocked on the door. Grandmother asked who it was. The wolf changed his voice and said it was Red Riding Hood. Grandmother said the door was open. The big bad wolf let himself in. Grandmother saw him and began to scream. Before she could do anything, the big bad wolf swallowed Grandmother up. The big bad wolf was not satisfied. He wanted to eat Red Riding Hood as well. The big bad wolf dressed himself in Grandmother's clothes. He climbed into her bed. He waited for Red Riding Hood to arrive. Red Riding Hood came to Grandmother's house. She knocked on the door and asked if she could come in. The big bad wolf changed his voice. He sounded like her grandmother. He told her to come in. Red Riding Hood said what a deep voice her grandmother had. The wolf said it was better to greet her with. Red Riding Hood moved closer to her grandmother. She said what big eyes she had. The wolf said they were better to see her with. Red Riding Hood said what big ears Grandmother had. The wolf said they were better to hear her with. The wolf told her to move closer. Red Riding Hood said what big teeth she had. The wolf told her they were better to eat her with. The wolf jumped out of the bed. Red Riding Hood screamed. Red Riding Hood ran from the house. The big bad wolf chased her. She saw a woodcutter. Red Riding Hood told him that the wolf had eaten her grandmother. The brave woodcutter picked the big bad wolf up. He shook him and the grandmother came out. She was shaken but safe and okay. The woodcutter, grandmother, and Red Riding Hood all watched the wolf run away. They were happy now. The big bad wolf had gone. Red Riding Hood and her grandmother thanked the woodcutter. Little Red Riding Hood told her grandmother and the woodcutter that she had learnt a lesson. She would always follow her mother's instructions and never talk to strangers again. Beauty and the Beast. Once there lived a merchant with 3 daughters. The 2 elder daughters were selfish and wicked. The youngest one was so sweet that he named her Beauty. Once the merchant had to go away for work.
"What gifts do you want?"
He asked. The eldest demanded a pearl necklace. The second wanted diamonds. Beauty asked for a red rose. While returning, the merchant had gifts for his 2 elder daughters, but he couldn't find the perfect rose for Beauty. Suddenly, he stumbled upon an enchanting castle and went inside. There was no one in the castle. Strangely, a royal feast was laid out at the dining table. He was very hungry, so he ate the food. He went upstairs and went to bed. Next morning, the merchant saw some beautiful red roses in the garden of the castle.
"Wow! I must take one of these roses for Beauty,"
he said. A scary beast appeared and demanded to know why he was stealing his rose. The merchant replied that it was for his daughter, Beauty.
"Then you must send Beauty to live with me,"
the beast replied. On reaching home, the merchant's voice trembled as he told Beauty everything. "I must go, Father," Beauty said. Bravely, Beauty went to the castle. The beast always treated her with kindness and respect. Soon, she became fond of him. After some days, Beauty started missing her father badly. Beast let her go home. Beauty promised to return soon. Her father was delighted to see her. Her sisters claimed to be happy, but they were furious to see her return. Beauty loved her family's company. One night, she dreamed of the beast lying on the floor in poor health. She went to the castle immediately. She found the beast in the exact same condition.
"Why didn't you come back soon?"
gasped the beast. She sobbed. He asked her to marry him. She agreed immediately. Instantly, the beast turned into a handsome prince.
"Oh, Beauty, thank you. A wicked magician turned me into a beast. The spell would only end if a beautiful girl were to promise to marry me,"
he said. Soon they were married.
The merchant was very happy with the marriage. They lived happily ever after. Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a beautiful girl named Cinderella. She lived with her mean stepmother and her 2 cruel stepsisters. One day, the stepsisters received an invitation for a ball at the royal palace. "What a shame maids aren't invited too," jeered the stepsisters. As soon as her stepsisters left, Cinderella cried her heart out. She wanted to go to the ball. Suddenly, she heard a voice from the back. "I'm your fairy godmother. I will fulfill your wish." The fairy godmother magically transformed Cinderella and her friends. She told Cinderella to return before midnight. As soon as the handsome prince saw Cinderella, he was instantly enchanted. They both danced together. The clock struck 12, and Cinderella immediately ran out of the palace. She panicked and lost a glass slipper in the palace. The puzzled prince chased after her, but only found the slipper. The love-struck prince went from house to house, making every girl try on the slipper. Soon, he reached the stepsister's house. They snatched the slipper from him and tried it on their feet in vain. Then, the prince asked Cinderella to try on the slipper. Her dainty foot was a perfect fit. The prince gasped in delight. The prince took Cinderella back to his palace. They got married and lived happily ever